Well, happy Friday, Chiefs. How are you? And welcome to the Chief Chat. It's good to have you with us. Come on in, get yourself a seat, grab yourself water, and make yourself at home. We got a great show for you today. It's a gathering, really, not so much a show. It's a family affair. It's like a big brunch. It's like a Friday brunch. Nice to see you. What's up? Lynn is here. You know, I got a weird thing going on where I can't see uh, who's commenting because all this stuff comes up. But I see who's here. Hey, Ann. What's up, Ann? Good to see you. Candace. Hey, Candace. Our man Chris Hardy's here. Finn. Finn is here. Good to see you. Where are you from, Finn? Is it Sweden? I hope I'm not wrong. I think you're from Sweden. Finn is here. Julie, Matt Mason, and Mike DeLuca. What's up? We got some new folks in the house. I think Mike, I was just seeing. Are you in the hot seat thread this week? I think I was just seeing your post and liked it a lot. Yeah, no, not you. Okay, sorry, Mike. Different Mike. Roger Binny is here. Hey, Roger, thanks for being here. You're on the hot seat today. Roger is a little apprehensive about sort of popping on. You going to come on camera with us? You okay with that, Roger? Hey, Colin Campbell. What's up, Colin? Good to see you. Cool. Okay, Roger, cool. We'll get to that. Settle in, and you'll see this is a really friendly environment. There is nothing to worry about. We'll treat you with respect, and it's all going to be good. Rick Harmon, good to see you, Rick. How are you, my man? Mike Lopez, wow, great crowd today. Lynn Swayze in the house. Julie is here. Hey, Julie. Okay, cool. Valerie, hi. Tim, woo. All good. Good to see everybody. Okay. So we have a hot seat today. Is Dean here? Our man Dean? Dean Edelson is here. Okay, so I won't bore you with vacation stories, but we were in Sedona last week, home of Dean Edelson. And gosh, I love what he's done with the place. It is lovely. I'll tell you what, you hear all about places like Sedona. You guys ever been to Sedona? Tell me if you've, Germany, Finn, that's right. Just opened the first beer of the day. Perfect. It's beer 30 in Germany, everybody. Uh, so you don't even seem old enough to drink. What's the age there in Germany? Probably only 18. Okay, so yeah, Sedona comes with a lot of hype. A lot of hype. It's beautiful. It's a place like no other. You will find your spiritual self in Sedona. A lot of hype to live up to. The vortex, yes. And I tell you what, it lived up to it and surpassed it. And my God, what a beautiful place. We were concerned because here we are. I live in Florida. We're meeting our friends, the Gardells, my buddy Billy and his family. We're meeting up there. And in January, they live in LA. We live in St. Pete. Made perfect sense for us to meet in Arizona for our July trip in January when we started talking about it. And come June, we're all like, what have we done? Why would we go to Arizona? It was like 120. There was like all over the news that planes couldn't land in Phoenix. And we're going, this was a horrible mistake. Well, we get there and it was gorgeous. The weather was perfect. We got a couple of beautiful little, I don't know if it's quite a full on monsoon, Dean. I don't think we got to really experience a monsoon, but some storms came in and it was just every bit of it was fabulous. I got to meet Dean's amazing wife, Elaine, and did a reading with Elaine. You may know that Dean's wife is an intuitive. She's amazing. I can't say at it. I guess it is a skill that you develop, but it's sort of just a gift that happens. And I got to tell you, it was one of the coolest experiences because, because Elaine is so cool. It was clear to me that she was sort of in touch with angels, she calls them, and things around me that I'm not in touch with. But she does the numerology and like really helps you understand your life path. And some people, you know, don't believe in this stuff or whatever. But it was not like a woo-woo crazy experience. Like I could sit with Elaine and just talk business and 100% trust her advice. Like she's a savvy woman on a lot of levels. The fact that she has this gift only enhances the time you spend with her. So if you've ever had a reading or ever thought it'd be interesting to have a reading, I highly recommend, you know, if you get in touch with Dean and talk about doing it with Elaine. It was amazing. And then it was funny because we met Dean and Elaine for dinner Monday night, and we're like, we was just, you know, kind of casually talking about it all. And she talked to our wives the whole time at dinner. And in the little bit of time we spent with her, I reached out to Dean and I was like, we really want to have readings, me and Billy. Like, of course, wanted them, but Billy and I were like, we got to do this. So she normally does them over the phone. So she had to do you know, an hour with Billy, actually an hour 20, and then an hour with me, like right after that. And Dean, she must have been exhausted the rest of the day because of a couple of whack jobs, and she's like channeling everything that's going around with us. So it was really great. And then my wife got on the phone with Elaine on Sunday, and I got to tell you, it's to me, it just better than like a normal conversation, because you just really come to understand things on a deeper level, and things that have happened since then, you know, make a lot of sense. And it's just a really great way to get centered, to get focused, and have things kind of get aligned to make sense. So highly recommend that. And thank you, Dean, for making time with us. It was great to be in Sedona and see you guys. Took a helicopter through the Grand Canyon. How cool is that? What a cool way to see that thing. The Grand Canyon, you know, who's been to the Grand Canyon? I was there once as a comic. Yeah, I was there a long time ago, and when I was on the road, and I just was driving through and stopped by, and God, it makes me nervous to, you know, they did a better job of fencing it off now, or I was at a part of it that was just really open. And I'll never forget watching these young guys leap from sort of, you know, rock to rock, where one little slip and they're just, and I've never been really great with heights. So I still sometimes will just remember seeing those kids like leap from rock to rock, and I'll get like a shiver, you know. So it was to bring my kids there. I was like, you know, listen, I know you're going to want to like venture out. You don't go anywhere near the edge. I'm like stiff old man, you know, going, you kids stay away from the edge of that Grand Canyon. You'll slip and fall. So taking a helicopter through it was a cool way to experience, like really get to see it. And it was kind of funny. My, hey, Casey, what's up, man? Wow. You're stuck in Flagstaff for 10. Oh, wow. So you're kind of stuck in Sedona for 10 days. That's a great place to be stuck for sure. So quick funny story about the helicopter. So you're in there. It's, you know, wonderful, modern, felt totally safe. The pilot is a badass. Pilots are just cool, right? They have that. They're like they got this swagger, but they're intelligent, and they're just ultimately confident. And you just feel safe around the pilot. They're totally cool and in control. And so my wife doesn't love to fly, and so she was immediately put at ease by this pilot. And I think she had a minor crush, which I was all for, because I was like, whatever makes her comfortable, crush away. And so we get going, and he had put together a playlist. So everybody's got the big headphones in and your microphone. And you really have to talk loud to make the mic activate, right, and work. And so you're hearing a lot of kind of like bits of sentences, and things aren't really coming through. And so there was us, and then Finn. There was a German couple with us, who were very nice, but spoke very little English. And they, the poor girl who was sitting in the front became nauseous. And it was the most elegant flight vomit I've ever experienced. She just, I wouldn't have even known it, unless the pilot was checking on her to make sure she was okay. And she just she said, "Yes, I'm fine." And she had her bag, and she just kind of politely dipped into just did she just throw up? Because that looked like, it was just elegant. And so, so now the Roger, that's funny, Tim. Tim loves to bring up memes that go on in our team stuff, and call them back in the chief chat as if anybody would understand. I love that about Tim. Finn, did they wear sandals and socks, a Jack Wolfskin coat, and around their hips? No, actually, they were. They weren't stereotypical at all. They're just two cool young people. They were wonderful. I wish I could tell you something funny that they did that was very German-esque, but they didn't have a stein of beer or anything on the plane or on the helicopter. So anyway, so this my son and I are obsessive about music, and we're the worst people to go to a restaurant with, because we cannot ignore the music that's playing. Okay, if it's okay music, good, we'll appreciate that. But if it's bad music, which is, I don't know, 85% of restaurants are playing the worst effing music. Why would you play? There's a sushi place here that we love to go to, but they play loud, the shittiest pop music, and I'm just always going, why? Nobody in here wants to eat sushi in here, Justin Bieber. It doesn't add up. It's just annoying. And so my son and I will just sit there and go, I don't know, wow, this song sucks. And then we'll start to talk about how much the song sucks. Very annoying for everybody else at the table. So we're on the helicopter, and we're just enjoying this, imagine this scenery, and the pilot's pointing out things, and that river down there is coming from this source, and it's magically turquoise in this certain part, and this is what the layers of rock represent, and this is how old this all is. And everybody's just kind of taking it in. It's quiet for a minute, and the song, the song was Lovely Day by Bill Withers. You know the song, Lovely Day, Lovely Day, Lovely Day. So it's a great song, but then gets to the end, and you just hear my son come over the headphones, and he goes, "This song would be really great if he wasn't holding this long note at the end." It's just music review out of nowhere in the middle of the Grand Canyon. That was really important to him, and I have to agree, that's a great song until he holds that ridiculously long note at the end. Hi, honey. Thank you. You refuse to be on camera, don't you? Love you. My wife dropping off my wallet, and that was nice. Okay, so oh really, Tim? That's interesting. People play crappy music, so I don't know. I get the impression at most places that I bet there is a science to it. Like Chipotle, I wonder if each individual Chipotle has control over their music or not, because I've been in some where it's unbearable and others where it's okay. But I think most places think they just have crappy taste in music themselves, and they think that people will like what they like, and that it's adding atmosphere, right? But it's not. It's just sucking. So, okay. Let's get to some best things. By the way, Casey is here. Can we just applaud Casey Stanton? Wow, Casey, man, the training you gave us this week about making sales your strength. I hope everybody had a chance to get over to that. It is I think it is sticky in general discussion. It will move to the official training section sometime next week. There's the link. Casey, man, just, like I said in the post, I saw Casey. Casey's one of those guys, if you're in a room, I don't care how high level the room is, and there's sort of an open forum, just like we'll have, by the way, day 3 of Copy Chief Live. This is kind of how it's going to be, like just an open forum. We'll take on certain topics, but everybody will be contributing. It's going to be awesome. But when you're in a room like that, and Casey Stanton is in one of the chairs, he's so cool. He doesn't do it in a bombastic style, but the dude is just so like organized with his thoughts, so smart. And, you know, Casey gets the mic and you just see everybody stop what they're doing. And, you know, just like listen, they're like getting ready to write. What's Casey going to say? And then everybody starts writing. He's just a generous giver, or a super smart guy. And you saw it in that training. So thank you again, Casey. Really cool of you. Alan, loved it. So many great comments over there. Just really generous. And I'm proud to say Casey will be with us at Copy Chief Live. Casey will be with us in day 3 on the 11th. And that's how that's going to go down. You know, that is like Chief's Day. It's just us in that room. You know, like I said, we'll take on some topics, but it's going to be a discussion, an open discussion. I want to hear from all of you. This is what we want. Like, if you read the thread, what do you want from Copy Chief Live? So many of us just want hang time, right? We want to make sure we're together, and you're going to get plenty of that the first 2 days. You know, the ladies are having a dinner Sunday night. If any of you don't know about that, be sure to look for, if you're in the group, there's some postings in there. Marcella is hosting a dinner for her group, the Titanites, which is like Lady Titans essentially. And yeah, I love that the women are just rallying around that and having a great time together. And I could go on and on. It's just going to be amazing. If you somehow have not gotten your tickets to Copy Chief Live, you know, the deadline passed for the members only discount, and the price goes up again. What is it, Monday, Tim? Today's the 28th, 29, 30, 31, like Tuesday. So, you know, if you're having issues, if you want to just contact me. Okay. If you're a chief and you need to be at Copy Chief Live, I want to help you get there. If we need to do a toupee or something, it's hilarious when a bald guy says toupee. I love it. Yeah, just let's get you there. Okay, that's what matters to me. How about a dude's night? An old-fashioned smoker, a Friars Club. Yeah, I'll be Buddy Hackett. Screw you. That'll be great. Okay. One last thing I want to say going on in my life. Two quick things, and then I want to hear from you guys. So do me a favor, raise your hand if you have a best thing. You know how this works, right? We do a thing called Best Thing I Learned This Week. And how it works is you say the best thing you learned this week. You tell the source it came from. You talk about why it impacted you, how you applied it, and then you give an if-then statement. So if you're in this situation, then do this, and it may help you. Great format for making quick informational videos to promote your service, to raise your authority. Just a great tool. And this is a great chance for us to not only share with each other, but get what I call live mic ready. Be ready to get on camera, look good, sound good, sound confident. It's just good practice for us all. So if you have a best thing, let's get you in for it. Okay. This isn't exactly a best thing. It's more of an observation. You know, I'm like all, you know, I don't know what it is, like a big picture this week. This was one of those weeks, and probably had something to do with me being on vacation last week. But you ever have those, sometimes it's just a day, and sometimes it's like a whole week where you're like, nothing is lining up. You're going, like I've had more missed meetings and calls and like trying to connect with people this week where it's just like not working. I had one this morning. I had a call at 10:30 and we couldn't somehow, we're calling each other's phones, but neither are ringing. It's just like weird stuff. And so it can be frustrating, you know, when you're sort of trying to run a business and things aren't flowing. And, you know, if you allow yourself to get caught up in the frustration of it, if you're paying attention, very often you'll get a reminder of, just some instant perspective. So yesterday I after a frustrating experience, I walk into Chipotle. This, by the way, Copy Chief sponsored by Chipotle. Chipotle restaurants. It's fresh. It's somewhat Mexican. Get some Chipotle. Okay. I walk into Chipotle, and the man in front of me has no arms, no legs. No arms, no legs. He is amazingly equipped with prosthetics for his arms and legs, but young dude and standing in front of me, no arms, no legs. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Man, this, what a perspective. Amazing that we have the technology to aid somebody in that situation, but still, was not difficult for him not easy for him to maneuver, but smile on his face. And, it's just like one of those things where, imagine, like, everywhere you go, people regard you with awe, confusion, a million questions. People don't know, probably want to say it can be assumed that maybe it was a military thing, and you maybe want to find if that's the case and somehow thank this person for their sacrifice. But then maybe, it's just talk, like, what do you do? And so everywhere this guy goes, not only is he having to deal with his condition, but confronting everybody and everybody's weirdness around it. So anyway, it was just one of those weeks. And then again, this morning, I was feeling frustrated and rushed, and there's a kid pushing an older guy down the sidewalk, and the guy with missing a leg. And I'm like, look, man, like, at any given time, any given day, you never say this is the shittiest day or anything like that, especially when it's just like some stupid little communication thing, or you're not hearing back from somebody, or, it's just, perspective is important. So I'm just, like, thankful this week for all those reminders of how great life is. I mean, this is amazing that we get to do this and be in this business, have each other. And if you ever find yourself getting caught up in little moments, just, like, check in. And I'm not one of these people I go, just remember that people have it worse, and billion people wake up without water. And I know that, but that doesn't work all the time. You can't just constantly go, oh, that's right, some people don't have water, and feel better. I get that. But, it's just startling when it's seemingly like every point in a certain week where you're frustrated, you see something alarmingly remindful of how damn good you have it. So, a roof, water, food, money, love, family. It's just crazy how good we have it. So that, and the last thing I want to say, have you guys heard of a TV show called Breaking Bad? Have you heard of this show? I know you have. I'm kind of joking, because I am always way behind with certain things. Like, I'll discover a band from the 60s and think, oh my God, this band's amazing. And people are like, really? I got sick of them in 72. But people have, King Crimson, people have been hounding me. Breaking Bad's one of those shows where if you ever mention in public that you haven't seen it, you get a lecture, right? People just like, bro, dude, stop what you're doing. Forget every other show and go start Breaking Bad. You're going to binge, like, take your phone off. You're not going to come out of the house. I get it. It's a great show. So I haven't, last night, my wife and I somehow found ourselves without anything to watch. And I go, let's just start Breaking Bad. I mean, we got to do it. Well, 4 episodes later, it's 2 a.m, and I don't need to tell you, but wow. I didn't think it could be that good. I remember somebody said, this is how I felt. It's like one of the best movies you've ever seen that happens to be episodic television, right? You're going, like the hour, the opening shot of the first episode, right? And that first episode, you're going, that's one of the best hours of film I've ever seen. And it's episode what of a season? Are you kidding? Amazing show. The acting on every level, the characters, you know, the dynamics of the relationships, you know, and the storyline, really, really, really freaking good. So I'm excited to be watching Breaking Bad. Anybody else not seen it? Never seen Breaking Bad? We could watch it together. We could be BB buddies. Yeah. Lynn, you've not watched it either. Wow. See, I would assume you were one of those people who would be telling me, Kev, you have to. And so, yeah, it's really good. It's heavy, and it'd be really interesting to get your perspective on the show. All right. Enough about me and what I am doing. Chris Hardy, Colin Campbell, Matt Mason, and Tim Wu all raised their hands. I am assuming. Oh, really? You know what? Who said that? Deb. I did the same thing, to be honest with you. I did start watching it one time a while ago, and something was like, whatever. But I promise you, get through that first hour, that first episode, and I think you'll be hooked. Okay. Cool. Woo, Carolyn and Anian. Well, we're going to have to choose. We usually like to do 3. I'm going to do Carolyn. I'm going to do Carolyn, Chris, and Colin because I think they were first. They all have names that start with C, and I haven't heard from them. I haven't heard from Colin in quite a while. So let's start with my man, Colin Campbell, the crazy Canadian copywriter / consultant. It's all C's, baby. Look at him in his studio. What's going on, brother? Hold on. We got to check your mic.
How's that?
There it is. How are you, my man?
Never better.
Yeah.
Really good.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. The format for this is what I learned. Can you just?
Yeah. Here's the best thing I learned this week. Here's the source. Here's the impact, and then an if-then statement, a little piece of advice, parting words of wisdom.
Oh, dude. So I learned how I wrote this book, the case study campaign.
Yeah.
And what it is I did a campaign, it was successful, and then I wrote about it. But at any time that I tried to actually sit down and write the book, it became too deep. Like I needed to go deeper and deeper. So what I learned was my copy mentor, another copy mentor, Joel Bauer, said, hop on a meeting and teach your process to 4 people. So I got out a PowerPoint. I put down 10 problems that this campaign solves. And then I reached out to 4 people and said, hey, would you come on to this meeting and I'll teach you this case study campaign. And the reason why is because you'll learn about the campaign, but I also want to write this book. So that's exactly what I did. The format was, name the problems. And then I talked about the problems that this solves and then the corresponding solution. And then I broke down the thing step by step, transcribed, edited that. The book was out in 7 days. Yes. And the impact is that it gave me a sense of empowerment because I've procrastinated to create these lead magnets, like made it more complex than it needed.
Sure. Yeah.
So the biggest thing is if you've done something in your business or if you've created a result for yourself, that's the only reason you need to create some sort of marketing piece on it. That's the only thing that you need to do. So I feel like my level of implementation in literally 1 week has just gone, it's probably like 10 times, it's like, don't get stuck in needing to have it perfect. Just create something that a person would find useful and then put it online and create it. So I'm amped. And that's actually I saw the thing come in for Copy Chief today and I'm like, I got to get back into Copy Chief, because this is to stay in the conversation is so empowering.
That's great, dude. Really good. Thank you for that. One quick question. The case studies in the book, uh, ones that you worked with clients on or from your business specifically?
Yeah, so I have a service that I wanted to sell. I positioned the service as, hey, become a case study for this service.
Mm-hmm.
And then the campaign was so successful that I was like, shit, like this is a whole thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a 9-word, quote unquote, 9-word email, like a
Right.
widget.
Right.
So I was like, it's the case study campaign. I'm
Mechanism.
gonna,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Great. So you put it out as a beta users. Let me help you with this process. And through that, realize people would gladly pay for this because it's serving their business.
yeah. The distinction though is that I used the quote unquote case study campaign to sell a service. And then the campaign was so successful
Ah,
that I was like, why not write a book about this and turn it
this
into like a
process.
swipe file?
I got you. Are you still doing the service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. Really interesting. Some people I'm coaching have had similar ideas around this, and I love to see that you brought it to fruition. One last question.
Yeah.
First, and then please link the book because people want to go get it. And Carolyn's right. We could go on forever about best lead magnet ever is the book, right? I mean, it's what Dean Jackson told me. You put a cover on the damn thing.
Right.
Otherwise, it'd be just a PDF, or you put it on Amazon for a few bucks, gives it legitimacy. So powerful. Um, um,
Well, you
uh,
can just, and I know you've got
yeah.
this last question, but I've actually sold a copy. So now that I've sold a copy, the strategic byproduct of that is that if I'm hosting a webinar, I can use that as an open loop. So I can say, hey, Colin Campbell here, I'm going to teach you about XYZ. If you stay to the end, I'm going to give you this. If you look at it on Amazon, it literally sells for $27.
Yeah.
So it's like a real value, pointing a real value to the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up the book again. I want to read the title. Case study campaign, a 5-part marketing strategy to create a flood of new sales in less than 40. Okay, fantastic. So it's interesting because it's one of those things where you have to tie it to the end result, which is money, right? And so how challenging was that part for you to say case study equals sale? Is it part of a sales campaign typically, or have you been able to show that a case study on its own is enough to sell the product?
It's a good question. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
What I mean is, like, when I look at case studies and testimonials and things like that, I say they're hugely valuable, but they're somewhat limited by the fact that they're only one part of a campaign. So it's hard to attribute an exact dollar amount of sales to that standalone service, right? I'll create case studies for you. I'll create testimonials for you. It's something every business owner needs, but I think, and I've seen that, people will say, yes, I know how important that is, but I've got an actual landing page to get out and there's some testimonials on it. So I'm good for now. So to get them to see it as an urgent thing, marketers and business owners, do you feel like you've overcome that hurdle, or is that not what you're promising with this?
I don't think it's what I'm promising with it, because what it is on the back here, it says, learn a proven formula to create a flood of new sales by asking your prospects if they'd like to be case studies for your service or product.
I see what you're saying. So you're selling, I got you. So you're selling a system of saying, would you like to be a case study? And through that, it leads to sales. It's
exactly
the one-on-one, though. It's not just having the case study as a marketing tool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like that. There's something like Dean Jackson's would you like, those magical words that make people respond. Right. It's that word case study has some sort of scientific implied result that when you say, hey, Kevin, do you want to be a case study? Or even for the Copy Chief Live, right. It's like, hey, I want to have some case studies to brag about for the upcoming the group. Would you respond if you'd be interested in chatting about that? And then you send, and you can sell something prior to the event. There's just it's a magical thing. So I guess the next thing for this is, it wasn't really in alignment with some strategic objective. I was just like, hey, I did this, I'm going to write a book about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know really. I actually the funnel is really to use this book as a lead-in for a specific type of consulting.
Yeah.
Can I ask suggestions? Is this like, do you want to move on? This isn't part of the.
No,
you want to move on?
I want to keep going because it's
really
good, and it's so relevant to some things I'm trying to help people through. So everybody's cool. Let's go for another minute. Go ahead, Campbell. All right.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So the whole funnel of the objective of it is that there's a / to my URL, and it goes to case study consulting, and then on that page, it's basically, hey, you've read the book. If you want, well, the call to action is, if you want new leads or sales to your business using the case study campaign, yet you'd like assistance customizing the strategy to your unique voice, product, or service, simply visit call to action URL. And then on that page, it's basically consulting. Do you have any suggestions on that?
I would say that the one thing I learned from doing this process myself with the 60-second sales hook is that the offer you make will evolve. It's a harder thing to test because you have to update the book and do all those things. I kind of regret that I had a call to action on the back cover of the book because I'm no longer interested in offering that service. So I would say, tell me what it is again. Is it very specific? Mine was way too specific. It was like, here's a 3-step process we'll go through to, get you your hook. And I don't offer that anymore. But so what's the call to action again?
Yeah, the call to action is basically, if you like the case study campaign, but you want help customizing it to your service or product. So for instance, if you were a client, Kevin, you're like, I'm going to show you how to attract new copy chief people via a message that says become a case study.
Yeah. So no, that's perfect. It's general enough. It's basically saying, I am available to help you if you're interested. So that's perfect, because then you can change what you want that to be as you go. The mistake I made was, it was like really specific, and people want that, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. It's not that hard to update a book. Just tend to take forever to get to stuff like that. So I think you're doing the right thing. And let me ask you this: are you also offering the book as a free download on your site, or only selling it for now?
I'm only selling it for now, and the reason is because I want to create that value. The campaign was responsible for $20K in revenue. So it was like, I put all of my swipe files in the email templates and all of that stuff here. I don't really want to give it away yet, even though it might be a good strategic.
You could give away parts of it, or a mini version of it, the first chapter. There's all kinds of ways you can do it. What I like is that when you go on a podcast, to say, hey, listeners, you can get the book for free. If you love paper, you go buy it on Amazon. It's only $5. It's going to be super value for you. Or you can head to, copychief.com and get a free copy of the book. It's on me. So that was my source of leads from Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, like those shows before Copy Chief was even live. I was getting a crazy amount of leads just from that. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and then let me ask you one last question. This has turned into a little bit of a thing.
Yeah. And I appreciate it.
It's super valuable though. Do you have, we've been talking about mechanisms and unique mechanisms. The thing that made 60-second sales hook so valuable for me as a lead source was, I gave them the formula on the last page and said, give it a whirl and turn it into me. Do you have a similar mechanism for them to, it's like a step one of what you would ultimately take them through?
That's a great, actually, that's, instead of editing the book, I could, on case study consulting, have that as a call to action. So it's like, if I have like two bars, one is consulting, a first consulting session, or two is some other lower level thing that requires less time or energy, then there might be
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, again, it's all how you want to position it. Like Lynn says, you could just, if you want to do like a Dan Kennedy indoctrination thing, it's like, show me you're serious by paying for the book, and then I'll put you through a process through there, and that's fine. Um, True, Debbie, they do have to give you something. I just found, and this, I really followed Dean's model to the T. Give the book. If the mechanism is effective in that people use it, so people were a barrage of people turning in their hooks to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would make case studies of that. I had the hook of the week, and people just love that because they're like, that alone helps me. I had a eureka moment and knew how to get mine there. And then I created I was getting, $350 an hour for a 20-minute, I would call them hook, perfection sessions. And what that was just, obviously the cash didn't amount to much. I didn't want to be sitting there unscalable. I don't want to do that for 4 hours a day, every day, although I probably could have.
Yeah.
The best paid research in the world. And very often, I was just joking earlier this week that I get to the end of it. I was just offering the service because I was learning, wow, how people were interacting with the hook. And I'd get to the end and they'd go, all right, so what else you got? What's next? I'm like, I don't have anything. I'm like, yeah, I guess I better figure something out. And then fortunately, Copy Chief opened and that kind of took care of that. But so it's a really good problem to have, is like, if you can give people, here's step one of creating your case study. I don't know what it would be, but if we looked at the book, well, I'm sure we could come up with a simple thing they could do where it's just instinctual for them to pull out a pen and start, or you give them the very specific, all right, open up a pad, or better yet, Colin, send them to a URL.
Right.
It could even just be a Google form, and they start answering questions. And you say, okay, now let's take the information you've given me and see what it looks like as an outline for a case study, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just get them, you want it to be like almost there. Like with Six Things Sales, like some people nail it and I'm thrilled for them. It's great. So, but people struggle for a lot of reasons. And it was just so easy for me to come tweak it and light up their brain. And they would either say, that was so cool, thank you, great reciprocity, or I still need help, can I hire you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could put yourself in that kind of situation, because very often those calls will lead to, you get a paid consultation, and you'll find out more about their business. And it's the greatest lead source I know of to the other kind of consulting, deeper consulting you want to do.
Wow. That's awesome, man. I love that. On that URL, I think that's what I'm going to do, is put that. And I wish I had to put it in the content, because I show the swipe files, or the actual thing that was successful for me, but I didn't turn it into what you have, is like fill in the blank. This is step number 1, 2, and 3. I really like that.
Yeah, get them like where they can start. They could almost take it and use it as is, but they just see that compared to the ones you're showing them, it's not quite there.
Mm-hmm.
Not like you're trying to give people lesser value. It's just that people are inherently, you could give everything you have away, and people are just going to want you more to help them. You know that. So
yeah, right. That's the other thing. Like Dean says, it's conserve energy, avoid pain, seek pleasure. And none of that has anything to do with implementing marketing strategies. Like people, you could give them the world. You could give them the PIN number to your credit card, and they won't use it.
Right. So like, yeah, I know, but I forgot it. They'd be calling you. What's that PIN? What's that third number again?
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you, brother. This was fun, and it's great seeing you again. So, yes, get back in Copy Chief, where you belong.
Aye.
All right, pal. Cool. All right, we'll keep the next ones tight, but this is how we roll here. If something's good, we see it through. I'm going to go with Carolyn, the ever-ready Carolyn Ananian. How are you? So nice to see you. It's been a while.
I'm really good. It's good to see you.
How's things?
Things are good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. It
Awesome.
has been a while. I'm like, I have to catch you up.
I know. Yeah. I feel like we need to catch up.
So, my best thing, it's actually best thing of the last few months, not just the week. It's been a culmination of things, but a lot of the, I had this epiphany recently that a lot of the things we think we know are just about life are really wrong. So just as a background story, which Kevin knows a bit about, but I've been a caretaker for my 94-year-old grandmother for the last 10 months. And my family, my parents and my sisters and I have been collectively protecting her from elder abuse. It's been like this really big thing. And, my dad has always worked really hard all his life. I work really hard. And I'm at a point in my career where like I'm finally getting gains, and it's like really big gains, and it's really exciting. But I'm always thinking, as a copywriter, what's the next thing? How do I improve even more? And it's interesting as I'm a caretaker for my grandmother because, she's at the end of her life. We're selling her house, so that we could put toward her retirement. Everything she's bought, her whole life is like being sold, her furniture. It's all just stuff. And my dad and I were cleaning out her condo this week to sell it. And everything's just going out the door. And he and I just looked at each other like, this is so weird. Like, this is what you work for. And then it just gets sold off. And my dad was like, so what becomes really important? And then he and I had a father-daughter dinner. We went out and drank a little and just caught up. And it was like, that's kind of what it is. That's what's really important. And tied into that, in recent weeks, I started prioritizing going out and socializing people or just talking to people on the phone, because social media screws you up. It makes you think that you're close to people and you're really not.
Right.
So like every week, coffee dates and brunches and talking to people on the phone. And I got to tell you, like, my quality of life has skyrocketed, and it's also improved my copywriting, because copywriting is all about understanding people. And I think sometimes we focus so much on tactics and, keeping up with the Joneses. And it's like, am I successful enough yet? Am I doing enough stuff? And I know for me, I kind of lost sight of what was really important. So if you're feeling stressed out and like, am I good enough, or am I there yet? Just consider that like certain things, like, first of all, you're already enough. And second of all, it's not about, we focus on greatness, but the greater purpose is, the people in our lives and the value we're bringing to people. It's not just like, the fancy car and all that shit. Because at the end of your life, it all gets sold in an estate sale.
That's right. They're going to come tow it right away. Yeah. I love it. So if we're feeling like we're not enough, focus on relationships.
Yeah.
That's great. Really good. Thank you, Carolyn. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me share.
Always. Yes. Great to see you. And yeah, so true. Right. It's there's so much communication, and we all know like Facebook is everybody's, most extreme piece of communication for that day. It's an interesting thing. I was thinking as you were talking, Carolyn, like, how often is what you're posting on Facebook the same thing you would sit down and present to somebody that you had to go out of your way to sit with, right? And say, I have this person's attention for the next hour or so. Is this how I'm going to use it? And I get that it's not the same thing, but sometimes people get so extreme in their sharing that, here's the thing to me with social media sharing. It can't be every day that you're having some incredible breakthrough, or can it really? Like, does anybody have one every day? It just feels like you got to balance that stuff. There's some people I see on Facebook, leaders of communities and things. And I'm like, God, wow, another meltdown, another life-changing revelation. Didn't that just happen 2 days ago? I don't know. Maybe it's a style thing. It's not my style. They seem to get lots of interaction, but thank you, Carolyn. That was beautiful. All right. And finally, Chris Hardy. What's up, Chris? Let's get your best thing. Hey. How are you, brother? All right, let's unmute you. You doing it or I'll do it? There we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you.
Awesome. I'm coming in from Las Vegas last night to Orlando, so I'm suffering from a little bit of jet lag.
I feel you. I was Breaking Bad, till 2 in the morning. So we're there together.
Yeah. Okay, so I attended a security conference in Las Vegas with some of my coworkers from my day job. And this is relevant to my copywriting because it was about cybersecurity, and that's part of my specialization. So I finally got a chance to meet this marketing director for a company, a cybersecurity company, and I was all excited. You know, we've been chatting via LinkedIn and emails for probably 4 or 5 months, and I thought, okay, I'll go up and introduce myself. So I walk up to him, I introduce myself, I shake his hand. He immediately backs away from me. He crosses his arms, and suddenly his speech becomes very curt, you know, short answers. And I thought, he doesn't want to talk to me. And I admit, I kind of relatively quickly ended the conversation because it was in a big conference area. They were very busy. And I brooded about this for a while after I went back to my hotel. And the next day I thought, you know, last day I'm going to be here for the conference. I want to try one more time. So this time I went in and I said hi to him again. This time he was open. We chatted for maybe a minute or two, which is, you know, when they've got that many customers walking around, that's a fair bit of time. So what I learned really is if you don't get the response you expect when meeting someone for the first time in a public situation like that, give them a second chance to warm up to the idea of meeting you and talking to you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, as Melanie pointed out earlier, that may have just been a bad time for them. Right. And the second time he was much better.
Yeah, very good. That's great. That's a really good point. Like, and especially the fact that you mentioned that you kind of were brooding over it, because that is the normal reaction, you know. It'd be very easy to leave it there and say, oh, that person's kind of an asshole, or, you know, and just chalk it. And then especially if they're in a position of authority and that a lot of people want their attention, it's very easy to misread somebody's, and you know, body language or reaction. So great one, Chris. Really good. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, cool. And keep that in mind, Copy Chief Live, when you're, you know, wanting to talk to one of the speakers, or some people are really upfront about, you know, Carlton's famous for announcing to the room, don't talk to me on the breaks, me at his events. Just because, and he has a good point. He says, like, everybody says, hey man, 2 minutes. I got a 2-minute question. There's no such thing as a 2-minute question, because, you know, how often is the answer that black and white, right? If you really want to give somebody quality, it can't happen in 2 minutes. And if you're hosting an event and you just have to pee and get back in the room, that, you know, 2 minutes that turns into 10 minutes is your whole break. And so anyway, you know, it's a good point, Chris. Like, just like let it flow naturally, and, you know, don't read too much into it. Good stuff. All right. So wow, we're an hour already, but this is a lot of great stuff. Let's dive into the case study real quick. Tim, if you could post the thread. I think I've got it on my screen as well. Here it is. And so I'm going to have Roger come on and give us, in his words, what he's up to. Good thread with some good advice in here. Roger's in a market that is highly competitive, very hard to stand out here, but he's got some cool ideas for some hooks. And so let's just start fresh. I've read through this thread, but I like to pretend that I know nothing, just like the prospects will kind of when they come here. So Roger, first let's all right, let's get you, and let's just talk to you about this offer. And do me a favor now, raise your hand if you are in a position to come on and be a part of the panel. Sometimes I just grab people at random, and that's a bit unfair if somebody's like not expecting to be on camera and all these things. So why don't you raise your hand if you'd like to come on? And all right, and there's Roger. How you doing, Roger? Let me unmute you. Oh, sorry, we're unmuting.
I'm doing great. Actually, I just got.
Oh,
Hello.
good. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Connected.
How are you, my man?
Okay, I just got disconnected. Yeah, I'm doing great now.
Good. Yeah. Good to see you. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from India, Calcutta, India.
From India. Okay, cool. And I know you said, English is not your first language. So I commend you for even being able to communicate. English is my first language, and I struggle with it greatly. So it's commendable that you're, coming on, and I know it's not the most comfortable thing for you. You look a little bit, you're shaded there, so it's almost like we're interviewing a Mr. X kind of a thing. It's like,
Okay.
our surprise guest. We'll just alter your voice so you can tell us all the secrets.
Yeah, it adds a mysterious element.
So tell us about, now this is Anik Singhal. Are you an affiliate for Anik? Is that how this is going down?
Yeah, I'm an affiliate for Anik Singh's products, Inbox Blueprint, which is like his flagship product and which he sells for $1,497. So I'll be promoting that product as an affiliate. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to come up with a unique hook so that I can separate myself, and so that when the visitors come to my website, they see me as the authority or the person whose list they are joining.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come up with a unique hook for myself. So what I did was that Anik teaches a system, a 5-step system, which is based around email marketing. So he teaches that with a 5-step system. So what I did was that he has got a diagram. He has got a 5-step system diagram that through which he teaches the system. So what I did was that I took that 5-step diagram and I put it on a leaf. I have not yet created a sketch, but I'll get someone to create a sketch, that same 5-part diagram on a leaf, and then I'll market it to the audience as I'll tell them, I'll ask them, I'll tell them that this is a leaf sketch, and how this leaf sketch produces a 5 to 10K per month passive income. Because what I've seen in this market is that most people, the newbie people, they are trying to create a passive income online. So that is how I want. So that is a unique hook that I'm trying to create. Like they can create a passive income online using this unique using this leaf sketch, which is a 5-step method drawn on a leaf.
Gotcha.
Which I'll reveal to them after they opt in.
Yeah. So right. So it's Anik's 5-step thing. You came up with the hook of it being a leaf sketch. Now, my first question, because I get a napkin drawing or something. Leaf to me is something I need to understand.
Anik, like in his launch, he used a napkin sketch. So I modified it to create a leaf sketch. So after they opt in, they'll get a sketch of the 5-step diagram drawn on a leaf. So that is what they'll get on
leaf, like a leaf from a tree?
Along with this, and along.
Like I'm thinking of a leaf from a tree. Is it the same thing? Is that what you're saying? A leaf sketch?
Yeah, like they'll be like there's a sketch drawn on a napkin. So Anik used that method for his launch, that he drew a sketch on a napkin. So what I was thinking, that I'll draw a sketch on a leaf and then present it as a hook that they can learn how to create a passive income business using a leaf sketch.
Interesting.
And on the thank you.
Yeah, it's unique. Okay. It's just that a napkin, like I've drawn on a napkin, everybody's kind of drawn on a napkin, and you can imagine that immediately. A leaf to me, like everybody's going to picture a different leaf. So, but you said you're having a graphic made that'll represent the leaf sketch, and I think that'll bring it home. Okay, cool. So, awesome. Casey's offering to come on, huge. Sorry, Alan, I hit you by accident. You can deny that if you're not interested. I'm trying to hit Finn there. Hey, Alan, how are you, buddy? I don't know if you want to be on or not. You're welcome to, but I hit you by accident. I tried to hit Finn. Where'd Finn go? There he is. Always love having Dean is here. Lynn is here. Hey, Finn, what's up? All right, let's start with these people who were nice enough to raise their hand for us. Alan, do you want to stay, or would you like to be released back into the wild? I'm sorry, you're muted. Go ahead.
Oh, I prefer to be released. If
Okay. Sorry about that, buddy. Okay, cool. Finn, how are you, my man? Good to see you. Wait, let me unmute you. Okay, there. Oh, yeah, you're having your cocktail. How old are you? I thought you were like 19.
I'm 19, yeah, that's correct.
You are 19. It's 18 there in Germany?
16, actually.
Oh, 16. Goodness gracious. What are we waiting around for here in the U.S.? No wonder we're crashing into each other. We got to be practicing earlier in life.
Right?
Casey Stanton, what's up, brother?
Hey, man. Good to hear you.
Good to hear you, man. Thanks for being here. Okay.
Absolutely.
So you guys heard Roger. Finn, I think you've been in the thread. You've had some advice already. But so I'm going to start with Casey. Just your thoughts on what you've heard so far. What do you?
Yeah. So I'm guessing I'm having a lack of clarity here. So can you summarize what the request is?
Yeah, the request is that Roger is an affiliate for Onyx Segal, who you may know. He has a 5-step method behind. It's called Inbox Millionaire. Is that what it is?
No, it's a product called Inbox Blueprint, but they'll be signing up for a webinar.
Yeah. And so you're getting them on your webinar, Roger, or Onyx webinar?
Onyx webinar. Webinar.
And so Roger's motivation here is obviously to make money as an affiliate, but he also wants to step out as an authority of his own as he promotes this. Are you able to do any list building of your own, Roger, on the way to people signing up for Onyx stuff, or is it just you directing traffic?
No, like I'll be directing them to my opt-in page, where I'll be collecting their email address, and after they opt in, I'll present them the napkin or the leaf sketch on the thank you page, and after they read it, I'll also be promoting the webinar registration page on the thank you page, so they are redirected to the registration page after the thank you page.
Got it. Okay.
Got it. So my first thought here is that if you're giving someone, if you have an opt-in there, could you do the opt-in in such a way that it puts the person on your list and also posts it over to Onyx webinar sign up? So your front end bribe is get this thing plus get signed up to the next webinar. And it's 2 for the price of 1, kind of like 2 outcomes at once. I just think that you're going to have a low opt-in for the webinar because you're asking people to do something twice.
Yeah. So you got 2 points of friction here. One is you getting their opt-in. Then you deliver this leaf sketch, and depending on that may satiate them. Obviously the job is to leave more open loops there, but get them doubly excited, and then they can't resist to get on Onyx webinar. And Casey's saying, is there a way that you can sort of accomplish those 2 things with 1 click so that you don't have this extra friction?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'll be able to. I don't think I'll be able to accomplish both the things in 1 week.
What?
But I think it's better. I think it's better that I have some sort of a bridge page in between, because like people who go to the webinar registration page, they'll be much more informed about what they're going to receive on the other end, and they'll be much more excited to show up to the actual webinar. So it's not about just getting registration. It's also about getting people to get excited to show up on the webinar and attend the webinar. And I think if I include a bridge page, that might do a better job of getting people to attend the webinar than if I just redirect them to the webinar sign-up page.
Sure. So I hear that objection, and I think that's a fair one. I think that it's worth considering, though, that if you have them already signed up, then your job is to get them to show up. So show up related emails to support them, maybe some remarketing of that list, so they get inline ads that say show up to the webinar and give them reasons to be excited. But they've already RSVP'd, which is just a benefit. So that just might be something to consider. But if you think it doesn't work for your audience, then that's okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Casey. Finn, any thoughts here so far in this?
Yeah, I mean, like the one thing, like obviously, there's a lot of work being done in the thread. But what I was thinking, if Roger wants to position himself as an authority, become an authority, while getting the affiliate money as well, one of the things that would be possible to do would be what I've seen. I mean, pop-ups are annoying, right? But if somebody scrolls down very far, I mean, a lot of successful blogs do this nowadays. You could do a pop-up which says, okay, I mean, obviously you like my content or what I've written, you know, like to some extent. And then you can do a pop-up for an email opt-in to Roger's email list, right? So obviously that will be something which I thought of could help building his own email list while still creating affiliate sales.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good stuff. So, all right. So assuming that you've thought through, Roger, that this is going to be the funnel, it's a two-step thing because it serves your overall purpose. Let's talk about what you've been asking for help with in the thread, which is the hook itself. So I had a similar, as I was reading through, similar reaction to who was it? Oh, it was Rudy. And I thought the leaf sketch to me is the lead. You know, just have that curiosity. And I don't even know if I'd start even calling it a leaf sketch as much as say, how could this tiny drawing or this map sketched out on a leaf change my life within 5 days or something, or 24 hours, or, you know, you however you want to tell the story, you can frame the hook and the headline around that, you know. But to me, that would be the most compelling thing, because I think, and you've gotten a lot of this feedback, is it is important to relate to people who, you know, have this dream of getting rid of their job and making some money online and all these things. But maybe I'm being cynical because I've seen this market for over a decade, but everybody's saying that, and everybody's asking those same questions. Are you tired of trading time for money? Are you sick of working at a job? It's pretty ignorable, right? But if you look at the stuff that's worked in banner ads and things like that in the last years, it's always the one weird thing. And, at least, you know, a more clickbaity kind of approach of, you know, what the hell is this leaf? And the image is going to be really important there. And then I would start with your story again, like Rudy said. I would kind of take the same approach and just really make it like, you know, you met somebody and you're telling them the story about how something sketched on a leaf could change your life. I don't know if I would get as narrative as Rudy did, as I stand here in the autumn leaves smelling the ponderosa. I don't think anybody talks like that. I don't know exactly what a ponderosa is. But you know, in your own words, draw them in with some story rather than, because it sounds to me like you're willing and you want to nurture this relationship, Roger, right? Like it's as important to you that you explore your authority and get them trusting you as a resource as it is you even getting them on this webinar right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, both the things are really important, to get them to trust me as an authority and someone who knows what he's talking about, along with being able to get the affiliate sales or get them over to the affiliate link.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, let's hear from our man, Dean Edelson, one of our experts who's always got great stuff. What's up, Dean?
Oh, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
Oh, thanks. That was, I think going back to what Casey was talking about and all the things on the thread there, you've got a lot to work with. You've got some wonderful suggestions. Let's go back to the webinar registration. Personally, I don't think it needs to be a two-step process. The more hurdles and hoops you ask somebody to jump through, the more challenging it is. And I think you can accomplish both in the same. You can get people to register with a really good registration page. You can get them to register for the webinar. And also when they register, you let them know when they register, they're going to get the Leaf Sketch download. So now they've got something. And you can also frame it to say what you're going to get on the training is details on how you're going to be able to implement this. But even before that, with this Leaf Sketch, You can even start building your list as is just by having this paradigm, this model before the training begins. And to keep them engaged between the time that they register and the time of Anik's webinar training, you can create a couple of engagement videos. Give them like step by step. Okay, here's step 1. I'm going to give you a little preview of what to do with the leaf sketch. And here's step number 2 in the second video. This way you're whetting their appetites, you're keeping them engaged, and you're giving them invaluable content so to increase your webinar registrations.
What do you say to that, Roger?
So that's a really good suggestion. I can add some videos of my own.
Sorry, you're kind of breaking up there. Say that again.
Okay, so I can add some videos of my own to get them engaged, but I cannot get them.
We're losing you.
Hello?
Yeah, you got a kind of a spotty connection. Are you hung up on the idea of how to do those two things at once, sort of like as a conversation or technically?
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, like means what Dean said, that if I can get them to register for the webinar and give them the leaf sketch as well on the same page, means I don't think means I can do that, because the webinar is, I do not own the webinar registration page. That's a link that Anik system provides. So I'll have to redirect them to the webinar registration page. And means if I'm coming up with a hook of my own, means like I can on the thank you page, I can tell them that they can look into their inbox for the leaf sketch or leaf sketch that they can download. But means I cannot do both the things at the same time. Get them to opt in and register for the webinar at the.
Sure. So if you're building your list by doing this, Roger, then all you do is say, look at your register for the webinar and look in your inbox, because it's going to be coming from you unless Anik is controlling everything. But if you're building your list as well as the affiliate, you could say you can have a download link to the leaf sketch worksheet.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
It confirms their webinar registration, and here's the download I promised.
Yeah, I can do that. But my only thing is that if there's a bridge page in between, then means they are more receptive to the webinar. Means if they read through my bridge page, that talks about what they're going to learn about the webinar. So that increases the curiosity that they'll have about the webinar and what they're going to learn on the webinar. So that increases my chances.
I see what you're saying, we're at the point now where it's going to be test, Yeah. Because you could do it the other way too, Roger. You could be like, sign up for. They have to sign up first, and I think that's what Dean's saying is then they get the thing. So they're already signed up, and then you get them the leaf sketch, and you just give them more reasons. Then you can strictly talked about, this is what you're going to learn on the webinar, and this is how this. So now it's even more powerful for you because you have my guidance, right? It's like, you're their tour guide through what they're going to discover on Anik's thing. But ultimately, it's up to him to close the deal. That's his promise to you as an affiliate, is I get people on this webinar, and it does really well because it's good stuff, and we know how to excite people, right?
If you don't mind me cutting in, one of the things that I was just thinking about is that it would be a matter of authority, of priority. Sorry, if it's either if you prioritize being an authority of your own or affiliate sales, right?
Right.
But the problem is that usually it's just a funnel, right? And then obviously the second stage will be the one that that gets less interaction. But the problem is that after signing them up for Anik's webinar, you can't really establish yourself as your own authority. So that's why I think you have to prioritize, if you want it at all, prioritize being an authority over the affiliate sales. I mean, I might be wrong here. Obviously, I haven't been a copywriter for 17 years, but that's one of the things I just noticed.
Yeah. So I think here's the takeaway. hopefully this is helpful to you, Roger, and I'll let you ask any final questions. But I think it's just going to be, how long is this a limited offer from Onic, or is this an ongoing? Is it like an auto webinar, or is it only holding a series of these?
No, it's an evergreen type of
evergreen funnel. Okay, cool. So you'll have some time to test different ways.
It's an evergreen type of funnel.
I'm sorry, say again.
This is an evergreen type of funnel. So they'll opt in for the webinar. They'll receive 3 reminders before the webinar, and then after that, after a couple of days, they'll get a couple of more emails for the encore of the webinar, and then a couple of days after that, they'll get a couple of more emails for webinar number 2, in which he'll discuss how they can create 4 extra streams of passive income. And after that, after a couple of days of that, they'll get 2 other emails stating that the offer is closing. So it's like a 7 to 8 day process. That means it's an evergreen type of funnel, and means they get 6 to 7 emails from Onic after the webinar.
Yeah. Okay, good.
After they attend the webinar.
So, and it's not like only for the month of July or August or whatever that he's doing this, right? So you have a chance to test different ways to bring people through this funnel to find out ultimately what's going to serve your needs the most. Because unless you have products to offer them immediately, and you're wanting to be able to invest in Facebook traffic and other things, you're going to need some conversion. And right now it sounds like them buying from Onic is the only way for you to earn money. So it's great to want to build a list and do all those things, but unless you have some offers of your own, there's going to be a long tail on getting some ROI on that.
Okay.
So what we're saying is, it seems like our best advice is get them on the webinar, and it could even be that, it's how you follow up with the non-buyers. Can you get a list from Onic of the people that you registered but who did not buy?
No, I don't think that would be possible. But I think it's a high ticket offer. Like it's $1,497. So means 1 or 2 people, 2 or 3 out of every means 1,000 clicks that I sent to the webinar registration page are gonna buy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. You have options here, and so it makes it difficult to say this is the one way to do it. But I think you want people on those webinars. He's been doing this a long time. He knows how to close, and you might ultimately find that the leaf sketch stuff does the opposite of what you hope. I don't expect that to be the case, but put it this way: you've got somebody's attention that they want something, and if you through the trial and error of finding out what about the leaf sketch. It's not just the sketch itself. And once you kind of reveal what was on the thing, it's about how they receive that information. And there's a lot of ways to have that go wrong. If you give too much information, people can check out of, oh, I've seen this before, or I need it. Sometimes less is more. And so, when I'm an affiliate for somebody else's product, I just want to give them my endorsement and get them right into that person's funnel, because I only partner with people that I know have great products and are really good at getting people to take action if they're interested. And so I see my only job is to be an enthusiastic endorser, rather than I don't want to have to educate them on why they want this on my own and then hope they show up. You know what I mean? So I see what you're saying about increasing their desire, but if you're not at a level where for sure that what you're going to teach them is only going to increase their desire, it could actually backfire. So consider all those things, and what your priority is for this. Like Finn said, you got to prioritize what you want from it. Casey and Dean are both telling you, 2 experienced marketers, that they would just get people right to that webinar sign up, and then you can nurture them in your own way as a parallel path to that. So consider those things, and I've given you my feedback on the leaf itself. I'd love to see you continue in the thread, Roger, with I'd love to see that image of the leaf sketch and sort of how you're framing that. So, you know, keep on with it and let us keep consulting and giving you feedback in that thread, and please report back to us how this all goes down, okay?
Okay, so thanks a lot for your feedback.
Yeah.
And thanks, and Finn also.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for jumping on and doing this with us. Thank you everybody for being here. A great show. We'll have the replay up, and I will see you guys inside. We'll be back next week for another Chief Chat. And Dean, are you going to be in the hot seat next week? Well, you're muted, but sorry. Are you?
Yeah, that sounds
all right.
Great.
We got Dean Edelson in the hot seat next week with Elaine's product. So this is going to be super cool because I'm already a fan, like I told you. So I'm biased. You can't listen to me on this. All right. See you guys next week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.